In this video, we're going to have a general overview of Roman religion. So what was it like and where did it come from? So the key questions to take notes on are, number 1, what religious beliefs did the early Romans have? Number 2, what was the nature of the Romans' relationship with their gods? Number 3, how did religion develop over time? And number 4, who were the key gods and goddesses at Rome? So we'll just start off with the basic beliefs. So in the very early days of Rome, the citizens believed in spirits called noumena, and there was one noumen, multiple noumena. So these were everywhere and they had great power, so it provided an explanation for natural phenomena such as extreme weather that we have scientific explanations for today. But later, through growth at Rome and contact with other cultures, especially that of the Greeks, they came to believe in the gods which we are more familiar with. And so if you know anything about Greek mythology, you'll see that the Roman gods in their mythology is very similar. However, the nature of Roman religion was quite different. So the name comes from religio, which means a thing that binds, and religion was seen as a contract between a human and a god. This Latin phrase do ut des is really important. It means I give so that you may give, and it really summarizes the kind of reciprocal nature of Roman religion. So I do something for the gods so that they do something for me. Correct and appropriate forms of worship were used to purchase help from the gods, and if you neglected to do this, it would result in harm. So this began with in early Rome when some form of sacrifice would be offered to please the noumena along with an appropriate prayer, and in return they would help the person who was praying or avert evil from them. Things changed and developed over time, so the noumena developed into gods and goddesses, and the Latin word for a god is a deus and a dea is a goddess. However, some of them did remain as spirits of nature in sort of the trees and the forests and the springs and so on. But there were also a number of outside influences from other cultures which shaped Roman religion. So the first important one we have is the Etruscans. This is a race from the north of Rome who ruled in the 6th century BC. And they saw their gods as having human forms, and they also practiced divination. And both of these ideas were adopted by the Romans. Then the Greek cities in Italy, so people had migrated from Greece to set up towns in Italy, and their gods had really elaborate myths and legends, as well as human personalities, emotions, and relationships. So the Romans borrowed these for their own gods. The Hellenistic Greeks, so Hellenistic refers to a later time period, so those living at the same time as the Romans, had philosophical beliefs which the Romans adopted, such as Epicureanism and Stoicism. So if you're interested in that, there's a lot of information available in your further reading to have a look at. And there were other cultures as well which had an influence. So for example, we've got exotic mystery cults from the East and Egypt, which were quite popular. And then Christianity. So this became the official state religion, and the former pagan religion was outlawed in 392 AD, so it went from being a minority cult which was persecuted to the state religion of Rome and later most of the Western world. So we'll just finish up quickly by looking at the Roman pantheon, or the main gods. So we've got, first of all, Jupiter, who's the king of the gods. He causes thunder and lightning, and he has two brothers. One is Neptune, the god of the sea, earthquakes, and horses, and Pluto, the god of the underworld. Mars is the god of war, and Apollo is the god of music and the sun. Bacchus was quite a popular god amongst the Romans. He was the god of wine and parties, and as you can imagine, he's quite a fun god. Then we've got Vulcan, the god of metalwork and volcanoes, and Mercury, the messenger god. In terms of goddesses, Juno, the queen of the gods, is Jupiter's sister and wife. She's also the goddess of woman and childbirth, as you may remember. Venus is the goddess of love and beauty. And Minerva is the goddess of craft. Diana is the goddess of the moon and hunting. And then we've got Ceres, the goddess of fertility and farming, and Vesta, the goddess of the home fire. We will pick out some of these and look at them in a lot more detail, but it's just important to have these names and kind of their sphere of influence in your head, because as you continue to study classics, you'll see these names come up a lot. So just make sure that you're aware of who each one of these are. Okay, so key questions, just double check you've got the answers. So the religious beliefs of the early Romans, the nature of the Romans' relationship with their gods, how religion developed over time, and the key gods and goddesses. Make notes of any questions or problems and we'll discuss them in class. See you there.